Lynette with Charm Grammy Crochet. How you doing today? It is Monday, and I am back from my weekend with the girls. We had so much fun. So this video today is a little bit of a travel video and a little bit of a crochet video. We're kind of combining the two. I did crochet in the car a little bit. Did not crochet at the hotel at all. But we did a lot of sightseeing. So for those of you that are interested in the crochet, we'll start with that. And then we'll get into, which I didn't do a whole lot of. I will 100% be honest with you. I crocheted mostly on the way home. On the way there, we were kind of sightseeing. I mean, just seeing, because even though I've been to Kentucky many times, we went to an area of Kentucky that I'm not real familiar with. And we were chatting so much on the way down that I couldn't pay attention to crochet. Even though I was crocheting stuff I really didn't need a lot of attention to. It was just look at the, sights on the sides of the road at a lot of times, and then just talking. And there were 3 of us in the car, so Chloe was in the back seat, and you're turning around to look at her, and so anyway, if you're new to my channel, you don't know these people that I'm talking about or what I'm talking about, so I'll tell you. My daughter, Amanda, and my granddaughter, Chloe, and I, Chloe's 23, so she's an adult. Of course, my daughter is an adult. And we decided that for Christmas and birthdays, we want memories versus gifts, because we pretty much all have what we want, as far as gifting goes. And I can't even ask for yarn because I don't have anywhere to store it in the campers, right? So we started a few years ago doing things for our birthdays and Christmas. Amanda and mine, our birthdays are at the beginning of January, and Christmas at the end of December. That makes it easy for us to give each other this kind of, let's go here, let's do a little trip. And of course we include Chloe. And we did want to include my daughter-in-law Mary, but she was unable to come. So that was sad for us, but we had a great time. And so on the way down, I worked on Chloe's sweater. I bought this yarn at a yard sale here in the camper. It's homespun, and the color is called Pearls. And this is the first 2 skeins. I have 3 skeins of this yarn. It's not 100% put together, but I'm just doing a boat neck. So here's the neck. I did single crochet join at the shoulders now. You can't really, I don't know if you can tell, but I did the single crochet join, so it'll have like a little bit of a bump. She does not want that to show, so that'll be the inside of the, this ring always gets stuck in this yarn. So that'll be the top of the sweater, and it's just a crop sweater. It's not real big. Here, let me push it back a little bit further. You can see it better. Excuse me. I used my 6... No, I did not. Excuse me, I got the hiccups all of a sudden. I'm using my 8mm clover hook. And this is a 5 bulky yarn, I believe. Yeah, because the thick and quick is the 6. So this is a 5 bulky yarn. This is going to be a real warm sweater. So it does have, you can see the ridge. She'll want the ridge on the inside. So you're looking at it inside out. But I just did double crochet, back and forth, back and forth. There's 50 stitches. It's a medium, and it'll come off her shoulders just a teeny bit. And, I mean, she wears like a medium to a large. And we have it marked where I have to sew up the sides and then start the armholes. So I have one more skein. I have a skein that's multicolored with purple and blue in it, and a lot of the natural, but then just like little bits of, but she didn't want that included in, because I would have put that maybe in this area of the sweater and like given it um, or, you know, top or bottom, or just on the sleeves or whatever. I had all these ideas, but she didn't like the color, so we're not putting it in, which limits us to 3 skeins in this color. I have one completely unused skein, and I have some scrap, and that's what's left. So I'm going to start. So this I haven't gone into. I'm hoping that these scraps that I have here might sew up the sides. If that's the case, then I have 1 skein to make the armhole, to make the arms as long as I can. And I think I'll do one side on one and one side around. So one side from the middle, one side from the outside, and see how far the yarn goes, because otherwise I could be in real trouble. So she'll get hopefully at least a 3/4 length sleeve, which would be cute. I really was hoping she'd want that other color in there, because my idea was a cropped sweater with long sleeves, like, you know, but that's not what her idea was. And that's okay. She's the one that's going to wear it. So you get what you want within the parameters of what I can, you know, make based on the yarn that I have. So I did do more than I was working on each panel, but they were only maybe this long. So now there are like 22 or 23 rows. So I did that, and we measured, and I sewed just the tops. And then any other crochet I did was just on my Frankenstein, who, now this is the size of the ball that's left so far. I have not measured, so I really should get out my measure. It's definitely not big enough. Oh, it's upside down. Let me back you back up again so you can see better. It's about 38 inches wide at the widest, I think. And it's not as wide as it is. It's not as long as it is wide. But I think I'll have plenty of yarn. I could measure. I think I have a measurer in here. I do. Let's just take a look and see how big it is. I did not drink enough water over the weekend, and I'm all bloated. So you have to forgive me, but I got to catch up on the water. You know, when you're driving, and we were doing a lot of driving, and I take a water pill, as a general rule, every day I take a water pill. I didn't want to take the water pill and have to stop every 35 minutes to go to the bathroom. Oh, I twisted. Let's see. I'm going to measure this. Right now it's only 18.5 inches long. That's all. It sure feels like it should be longer than that. Because I crocheted many rows on this yesterday. At least I thought I did. Maybe I didn't crochet as much on it as it got dark. I was crocheting on this, and it got dark out. I couldn't see anymore, and so I had to put Frankenstein away. But this is all the crochet that I brought with me. We did things like, so I'm going to tell you what we did, what we saw. I'm going to put pictures in over top of talking to you. I think that'll be easier. I didn't take a lot of pictures, actually, because, I don't know, we were all kind of taking pictures, and we took pictures of each other more than we took pictures of other things that we saw and did. We got we stayed in Frankfort, Kentucky, at a Best Western, which was very nice. It had an indoor-outdoor pool. But Amanda forgot to bring her suit, so we didn't get to take advantage of that. I was a little disappointed. I kind of wanted to swim. I haven't been in a pool in a while. Even though there's a pool here at the campground, which I have never ever been in. It's when it's hot enough to swim, it's in the direct sun. There's no shade. And I just can't be in the direct sun a whole lot. I burn too easy, and the sunscreen wears off too easy, and I just haven't really wanted to do it. I don't know. I could wear long sleeves, but and I do have long sleeve shirts for that kind of thing. I wore them a lot when we, like all the time when we were in the Dominican over the summer. But anyway, we've never been in the pool here. It's only 4 foot deep, and I really kind of wanted to go swimming, and it didn't happen. But that's completely fine. We had a great time. By the time we got there, they had worked in the morning, took half a day off, and it was late, like 10 o'clock or something by the time we got into the hotel. So we were kind of tired, and we just hung out and chatted and took showers and went to bed. So we got up in the morning, and the first thing, I am not a very big alcohol drinker, but we wanted to go on the Bourbon Trail. Amanda's favorite alcohol of choice is bourbon. You know, if she's going to drink a mixed drink, she likes bourbon versus any other kind of whiskey, and or any other, you know, beer, whatever she likes bourbon. That's her choice. And so I thought, oh, the Bourbon Trail, I've always wanted to do it because I thought it would be fun just to go check out the distilleries and see how things are made. And a lot of the buildings are very old, and I love the old architecture. And there's like, I don't know, there's a lot of distilleries on what they call the Bourbon Trail. And you can rent limousines that'll take you, you know, so many places. There's tours you can go on at all of the distilleries, or most of the ones that we saw anyway. We only made it to 3, and we went back to 1. We happened to be, Amanda's favorite is called Buffalo Trace. And they make several different whiskey, you know, bourbon whiskeys. And they have taste testings. They have tours, several different tours you can take. Historic tours, distillery tours, just in general tours. Or you can self-guide a tour. And the place is huge. Like, really, really huge. I was very surprised at how big it is. We have been to Gatlinburg, and on the main strip of Gatlinburg, there are distilleries that you can shop at, and they actually distill moonshine. They're moonshine distilleries in Gatlinburg, which was the first time we've ever seen anything distilled. They do it in like a store. You know, it's just like every other souvenir shop along the place. So when I you know, which was kind of what I would like, they do small batch stuff there, which I now realize, like it's not, this isn't what's on the Gatlinburg strip cannot be the distillery that is for supplying the whole world of their moonshine. The places that we went to on Saturday this is where you're distilling for the whole world to buy. So just a brief history, which I don't know a great deal of history about bourbon, but bourbon is a whiskey, like Scotch is a whiskey. And so what makes them different from just whiskey? Why is this called bourbon whiskey? Why is this called Scotch whiskey? Why is it just whiskey? Well, there's several factors in why it can be bourbon. So bourbon is like a specialty whiskey. Scotch whiskey is a specialty whiskey. Scotch whiskey is made in Scotland. If it's not made in Scotland, it can't be called Scotch. Didn't know that. If it's bourbon, has to be made in the United States. If it's not made in the United States, it cannot be called bourbon. You cannot get English bourbon. It's not bourbon. Bourbon is a copyrighted name to whiskeys distilled in the U.S. It doesn't have to be bourbon whiskey if it's distilled in the U.S. because there's other factors involved, including what kind of barrel it's in and what kind of proof and what kind of corn or whatever is used in it, like the percentages and things. So there's other more distinct things. I know it has to be like the barrels have to be new. I'm pretty sure that's the barrels have to be newly smoked or new barrels or something. We did not go on any of the tours, but this is just Google information. But the biggest and coolest thing I thought was that it has to be made in the United States to be called bourbon. Kentucky apparently is the bourbon capital of the world. They make more bourbon than anywhere else. There are distilleries that you can like actually map out a tour and drive through and go distillery to distillery. Well, it will take you a long time. We got 3 in one day. And then we were tired. And if you did any tasting, if you like bourbon and whiskey and like just like doing like little tiny shots of it, even after just a few, my tummy was like, and I didn't taste much. So we did 3 and we were done. We were done for the day. But we went to Buffalo Trace, which is Amanda's favorite, and that's where she wanted to go specifically. If we can only hit one, I want to go to Buffalo Trace. We tried to do the tours, at least one of the tours. I think they have 3 different guided tours, and I don't remember if you pay for them or not, to be honest with you. But by the time we decided when we were going, where we were going, they were full. The tours were full for the day that we could be there. They, I guess, book like 60 days out. You have to, so if you're going to do a bourbon tour and you want to actually tour the distilleries, try making your plans at least 2 months in advance, to be able to secure places on the, tour. Now, Buffalo Trace has several different kinds of whiskeys that they make, and I guess their big niche is, Amanda likes that. That's her favorite whiskey, or bourbon. And I don't know which one. Like, not all of what they make is available in the store. She calls them allocated. Some places, some whiskeys are allocated, and they only make so many, and they only release them so often. So if you go to the the one whiskey is called Blanton. We'll just talk about Blanton, but this is all of their specialty whiskeys. So Blanton, if you go to the distillery, you get a wristband, and you can buy. They have a special every day of one of their specialty whiskeys that they put out every day. There's a special. And you can buy one of the specialty bottles every 4 months. And they scan your wristband and they scan your driver's license so that they know you already got this in the last 4 months. You can't come back and get it again for another 4 months. They think it's every specialty bottle you can buy once every 4 months. But they had a flood and they were closed for a while to the public. I guess they were still distilling, but they were closed, when they could, but they were closed to the public for a while, and they just reopened. We didn't know any of this until we got there. But so right now they're allowing you 2 specialty bottles and 1 visit. And they change the liquors every time. And right now, if you go in today, they give you a pass so you can come in tomorrow and buy tomorrow's specialties as well. And they're doing that through the rest of this month. So we went on Saturday, and we got the 2 that were Amanda's like, oh, you have to get these if we can. And they were both there. So one is called Wild Eagle Rare or something like that. It's got an eagle on the bottle. And the other was the Blanton. And the thing about Blanton is that it's got a collector's bottle. There's a little horse figure on the top, like a horse racing figure, because Kentucky's horse country. like the Kentucky Derby, and you know, they do a lot of breeding and stuff in Kentucky. So there's a horse, a racing horse on the top, and in there's a letter. Every bottle has a letter that forms the word Blanton, Blanton. I guess the B is the really hard one to get. So everybody in there is looking for a B at the bottom of this little horse. And so the tops are what's collectible, I guess. So Amanda got an A for Amanda, and we were allowed to buy 2 bottles. So we got another one to give to someone else. And we didn't care what letter was on there, but we didn't find a B. But people were sorting through looking for the B's. They're bringing out bottles, and people are looking for the B's. I don't know if anyone got a B while we were there, but so that was like, oh, let's look for a B. Let's find a B, and we didn't. And I mean, it's like, wait, I want an A. My name starts with A. So she got the Blanton and she got the Eagle one. And she was so excited. So we toured, and as I'm talking, the place is huge. Huge. There's so many buildings. They have a map. And different buildings do different things. And different buildings are like, you know, older and older. And then there's newer ones because they need more space. And we didn't do much of the tour. We walked around a little tiny bit. But we wanted to get to the other places as well. So we shopped the gift shop, and then there was a really long line. We had to wait in line to get in, had to wait in line to pay, but it was good. It was all fun. And they had like liquor tastings, and then they had these. They don't just make bourbon there. They make other alcohols, vodka and gin, I think, and. So Buffalo Trace, their logo looks like this. They have a big, which you may have already by now seen, a water tower that has Buffalo Trace on there. And I know I'm going to put in a couple of pictures of us in there, you know, at the distillery. But they also sell ginger beer, ginger ale, and root beer. So I bought root beer. It says, "Isn't that neat?" And it's Freddy's Old Fashioned Root Beer. And on the front it says, "Hey Daddy-O." So it's just it's non-alcoholic, just regular 12-ounce root beer in the bottle. And I bought a 6-pack. Which, you know, the root beer wasn't anything limited. And they sell, you know, in the store you can buy Buffalo Trace alcohols that aren't limited. But it was just like the whole, you know, specialty, get the specialty ones was really cool. So they were taste testing the root beer, which I don't drink anything carbonated. Roy likes root beer, and Roy likes root beer floats. I do as well. And I will, you know, we just bought root beer float ice cream the other day. It wasn't as good as a real root beer float. But they also, so they had the samples of the root beer, and with that, they were giving out samples of the bourbon cream. Now this is, here's a picture of the distillery right on the front of the bottle. And it says, made with straight bourbon whiskey in Kentucky. It's a liqueur, so it's only 15%, 30 proof. I mean, you're not good. You could probably, you know, drink a lot of this before you're going to get a buzz. So that wasn't the point. But if you mix, like they were doing shot size, or smaller than shot size, equal portions, so good. It really does taste like a root beer float. So I bought this mostly for Roy because he likes root beer floats, and I thought, oh, how fun that'll be, and maybe we'll have little root beer float cocktails around the campfire before we leave with our friends. I think that would be really fun, so we're going to get all this cold for that purpose. But if you're not much of a drinker, but you want to like have a social drink that you're not going to get a buzz on, you can drink this combination. It's yummy, and just like over ice and sip it. I want to try it in my coffee because I think it would be really good mixed in your coffee. It's really sweet. And it's yummy. And then, because we were there, I think these were just a couple of bucks, but they had these little medallions. Oh, $2.50. And I bought this little medallion just because it has the year on it. And I thought if we ever go back, you know, maybe we'll get another one. And so for $2.50, I bought that little souvenir thing there. And then when we went back the next day with that little, if you bought anything, it didn't matter what you bought, you could buy the specialty alcohols for that day, or anything else that you wanted. With that little card we had, you also got a free whiskey glass, you know, to make a drink in, and a free hat pin or lapel pin, whatever. So we bought, because we were allowed, Amanda could buy one and I could buy one. Chloe forgot her driver's license, so she couldn't buy any alcohol. So we took advantage of that and got the free glasses, and I gave all that to, you know, I didn't take any of the alcohol. That's all Amanda's, but so then she got the free souvenirs too. Yeah, maybe she'll do a gift bag or something for somebody. I don't know. The friend that we were buying booze for, you know, maybe he'll get the whole thing that I purchased for him. I don't know. That's up to them. So that was Buffalo Trace. That was the only distillery that I purchased anything. Like I don't have souvenirs or just pictures from the others. From there we went to a place called Castle and Key, which we've never heard of before, but it was on the map, when you Googled the map of in the area of Frankfurt, on the way to Bardstown, because that's where we really wanted to go as well. I mean, so we went there. It's a new distillery. They purchased a distillery that was no longer functioning, and started their new company. They're just having their 7th anniversary next week. So if you go to that distillery next week, which would be the last week of September, they have special things going on there. They also have a specialty bottle, which maybe I'll show here. This wasn't the specialty bottle. The bottle of it's gin. It was just a pretty bottle, so we took a picture of it with all the herbs on the front of it, and they used that same bottle label for towels and other things in the gift shop. I have a picture of the inside of the gift shop as well. And I took a snapshot of the outside of the building from their website, because I thought I took a picture of the outside of the building. I guess I didn't. Maybe Amanda did, and I didn't get that picture from her. But we went there because, let's go see the castle. And the grounds were beautiful. They have tours. They have, distillery tours, and they have grounds tours, because they have a botanical garden and an underwater creek and well thing. And the grounds were beautiful. We didn't walk. We just did what was close. But they had cornhole set up, and they had a food truck. Buffalo Trace also had a food truck. And there were a few like charcuterie boards and stuff you could buy there too. And they had just like outside, so you could get like a flight of different shots, which just means a bunch of different little samples. And I don't know why they call it a flight, but that's what they call it. And they put them on like a little tray, and you can take that out and sit out in the grounds, and they had chairs, and taste your liquors and decide what you want to buy, and if you want to buy or whatever, and just hang out. So that was kind of cool. Buffalo Trace had the same thing, but then they had a band going on at Buffalo Trace while we were there, actually, live music, because there's like reopening thing going on. I don't think they have that all the time. So that was kind of interesting as well. We spent time there just chilling by the river or stream or whatever it was, and it was real. The castle we didn't get to go into much more than at all because we didn't have the tours, and I didn't think we were even going to go there. But when I told Amanda it had a castle, she's like, "Oh yeah, let's go there." But we went in the gift shop and it was cool, and I have a picture inside there. Excuse me. From there, we went to Woodford, which is a more modern looking distillery than the other ones, but it's very expensive. They had a specialty as well. I guess that's a thing where, limited supply, limited edition at a time. Maybe it's a new blend, things like that. A little bottle was $100. Like, whoa. We did not buy that. But Amanda wanted to taste it because this specialty liquor, bourbon, was made with tea and cherries, I think. So it was infused with teas and cherry flavor. And like I said, it was not a very big bottle. I didn't get too close to it. Not for no reason other than I couldn't smell it. I couldn't, because I don't smell. I don't have a sense of smell. And I wasn't going to drink it. But she wanted to try it. So we stood in line and she bought a taster, which isn't a complete shot even. And it was $25. We're like, oh my goodness. I said, you savor that. So we sat out on their deck. They had real pretty grounds as well. And by then we were starving. So we're like, hurry up. After a couple of minutes, we're like, okay, hurry up and finish that thing. We want to go eat. I don't even remember where we ate. Oh, we stopped at a local restaurant called Ricardo's. And oh my goodness, that food was fabulous. Amanda had a burger. She says, best burger she ever ate in her life. It was cooked more rare than what she likes burgers, and she thought she wasn't going to be able to eat it, but she ate every last bite. Chloe had chicken tenders, I think. No, Chloe had a salad, and that thing was so big she couldn't finish it. I think that's what she had. I don't remember. I had something really yummy too, and I can't think of what that was. But we were all very impressed with the food at Ricardo's. Then we went to, anyway, I don't remember what I had. Maybe I had a small steak. I didn't have a burger. It was good, whatever it was. And then we went into Bardstown, which there's distilleries on the way in near there. I think Jim Beam and Maker's Mark. There's one called, I don't know if it's even bourbon. Yeah, they make bourbon. Chicken, something chicken. I have pictures of it. Oh, I can't remember. I can't remember the name of the place. We didn't buy anything there, but I took some pictures, and Chloe, they had an outside chicken you could ride, sit on and take a picture. So Chloe did that. It's just a little tiny place. It was cute on the inside. Old building. Bardstown is an old town. And they have beautiful old buildings with beautiful old architecture. I totally love beautiful old architecture. One of the buildings that we went into was a restaurant, bar, Airbnb, bed and breakfast kind of place, hotel. It used to be the old jail. So I have a few pictures of this place. It's called Talbot Gift Shop. They have stockades outside, which I got a picture of Amanda in the stockade. And they invite you to their little museum upstairs where Jesse James, the bank robber, stayed in one of the rooms that's they have sectioned off. Like they don't rent and they don't renovate. But there's holes in the walls where there was butterfly wallpaper at the time, and he thought the butterflies were, he was drunk. Must have been drinking that bourbon, and he shot holes in the walls. We didn't do film inside there, photography. I should have. I don't know why I didn't. I was really impressed with the room. It had these old murals that were painted by a French king's brother, and then there was a fire, and the murals were kind of destroyed, but they have plastic over them to protect as much as you can. You can see images, but they're bad. Abraham Lincoln's family has history there in that inn, and George Washington had history in that inn. And so there's things that talk about those. The rooms are named for different historical figures that had an influence on that area, on that building specifically. They had a bar and a restaurant and the hotel. The building itself is old. I have a picture showing that, the name and the age, which I don't remember. That was 2 days ago. We were there on Saturday. They had the cutest little shops in the area, but we were there. It was getting to be after 5 o'clock, and everything, even on Saturday, I thought for sure the little shops would be open later on Saturday. Closed at 5 o'clock. The bars and restaurants were open, but we didn't. We wanted to go and do the little boutique shopping, and we only got into one before it closed at 6. Which was an awesome little store, and they sold a lot of retro hippie kind of clothes, which I was totally into. I'm like, oh, I would wear this in a minute. I would wear this. I would wear this. They had bell bottoms that were like the elephant leg, really big, this wide, really huge. I loved them. They didn't have any big enough to go around me, but that's okay. Maybe they did in the back room, but they were closing, and so we left. But they had rhinestone cowboy boots that Chloe was in love with. We all found stuff. They had pink furniture. It was mostly, just as display for sitting. I don't think they were selling it, but if you wanted to try on the boots or whatever, you would sit on this pink couch and chairs. I'm like, oh my, furry. I'm like, oh my God, I want that so bad. Roy would just, he mostly doesn't care, but I think he would be like, yeah, no. And I said, God, if I had a yarn room, this would be the perfect furniture. I would love this. Just because it was so wild and cute and nostalgic for me, I guess. So we ate ice cream, and then we went back to our hotel where we did facials and foot facials. So I have us looking like we're Michael Myers. I'll show you a couple of pictures of that with these white face masks on. I thought when you did a facial mask, it was just like cream that you put on, but what Chloe bought is an actual cloth, and you put it over your face, and you leave it on there for like a half an hour. And then there were these things for your feet, and they're like plastic baggies that you put on your feet with some special lotion in there. Worked really well. It all worked really well. My face is just so baby butt soft now. My feet too. So we have a picture of the feet and our Michael Myers faces. And when we were done with that, we were just exhausted. It was late. And we went to bed to get up the next day and slowly get moving. We went back to Buffalo Trace to get another of their specialty bottles. We only bought one. There were 2 on special the second day. One was E.H. Taylor, I think is the name of it, that Amanda said, well, somebody had told Amanda it was really good. I don't know that she's ever had it. And the other was Weller Special Reserve, I think. So Weller you can buy anywhere but it was the Special Reserve thing that made that one of the specialty bottles. We learned a lot more information about, like, Amanda's like, why is Weller their special? I can buy that in Ohio at any time. And there was a man in line in front of us, and he knew a lot about the place. And he said, it's the Special Reserve thing that makes that one special. And we're like, okay. But Amanda had tasted that one, and she didn't care for it too much, so she didn't want that one. And any of the others, like, you can get Buffalo Trace whiskey or bourbon anywhere, just the regular Buffalo Trace, but it's the specialty things that that were the fun reason to go there, that we didn't even know about, but then it made it so much more fun. And the fact that she got, her initial, like, she knew about the Blanton. And I guess, like, they'll send 6 bottles to a store, and it's like you have to, the liquor store owner can't buy those bottles. They have to send feedback that says this is who bought these bottles. One person is allowed 1 bottle, and so they can't hoard it and then resell it for more money, kind of thing. I mean, I'm sure people do that anyway, but the store owners can't, like, take the 6 bottles and take them home and then sell them, on a markup basis or something. It's to help protect the consumer. But their limited quantities are shipped out. So if you get one, you're like, that's really special. Unless you go there and buy it. So, and then they tell you what the specialty bottles are 30 minutes in advance of the store opening. And sometimes they run out. So if you are like us, a 5-6 hour drive away, with potty breaks and stuff, it's 5 hours minimum from here anyway. You can't just jump in your car and know you're going to get them. You can jump in your car and you might get them and you might not. The bottles on Saturday sold out by the end of the day. Because it said on their website they were out of them. So that's kind of interesting. So anyway, if you are still here after all of this interesting bourbon talk, I'm impressed. And thanks for hanging out all this time. It was fun to do this, and there's so many more. There's like, I think 17 to 20 bourbon distilleries on the trail that are, like, actually listed as part of the Bourbon Trail. We talked about if and when we go back again, which it was a fun girls' weekend. Maybe we would, do the tour where the bus driver comes and drives you, and do a bigger crowd. But it's hard to get people together, to go on a 2 or 3 day weekend, because everybody has busy lives, So anyway, we had a fun time. I would definitely do it again. And we may, because like I said, there's a lot of places we didn't see. And then it was just nice to, like, hang out in Bardstown, and we didn't even do, and we talked about, let's try to make time to see some of Frankfurt, because Frankfurt has a lot of history as well. And shops and, things like that we didn't get to. We didn't see anything in Louisville, because, we only had the 2 days, and we were so tired at the end of Saturday. We didn't want to get home too late on Sunday, because they both had to work today. So I hope they did that fine this morning. I haven't talked to them because they're both at work. So I hope they're doing well. I'm sure they are. And I appreciate you guys hanging out all this time. This is one of my longer videos, I know. But it's been a pleasure. talking to you and telling you all about our weekend. Somebody trying to call me. So that's all I have for you today. I will see you guys again in the next video. Maybe I'll have some sleeves on that sweater by then. Roy and I are planning a trip to Grand Rapids, Michigan for my son. We got to go pick some flooring up for him. And so we might see some travel stuff there as well. That's the plan. We're going to spend the night. I don't know how long it's going to take us to get there. It's a little bit longer of a trip than we wanted to do back and forth in one day. Plus, if we're going to be there, we want to see what we can see. And if anything, and I'll show you what we do there when we get there. Well, when we get back from there. Okay, guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.